Hey guys, it's Lorenzo. So, in this short video, I'm going to show you some of my other tropical plants. I have here a double hibiscus. That's right, a double hibiscus. You can see the flower is double, and it's this really nice salmon colored hibiscus. I have another one that I'm going to show you here shortly, and it's really brilliant red. So when I got this, I kind of thought it was going to be that brilliant red color, and I thought, oh no, I'm going to have two really red hibiscus. But this one turned out to be a nice salmon color, and the bonus is that it's a double hibiscus. I got this shrub on the clearance rack at Lowe's. It's got a woven stalk, I guess you could call it, or branches, I guess they would probably be, but they're all woven together. I think I paid like 13 bucks for this shrub. I have it here next to my front door, so it's next to the welcome mat, front door, and I'm about to get another one, is about to open. Unfortunately, these flowers, I've noticed, as soon as they bloom, they'll die off almost immediately. I think that's pretty common with hibiscus. My other one does the same thing, but that's okay. I get to enjoy it while I have it, and it's really nice. These are really large blooms, so I'm sure that the plant itself expends a lot of energy on just producing one flower, hence why there's not a whole bunch, but I have a ton of buds up here. So if all of these bloom at the same time, that would be pretty cool. Here's, this is like an impatient, but it's a sun patient. So it's doing really well. I have some there as well. A huge geranium that is surviving the summer heat. It's already been 100 degrees here in central Texas, but this is my other hibiscus. Unfortunately, this flower was open when I got home from work, and now it's already decided to close up. Here's another one down here, just to show you. They're usually open, but I think they're already on their way out. That's okay. This bush I planted when I bought my house. Here's my house. I planted it 5 years ago, and it got huge. It was as tall as the brick here on this side of my house. It was all the way up to the top here on the eave. So I trimmed it back 1 year, and I think I trimmed it too early, or I should say too late in the season, the growing season, because it was right before winter. I cut it back and all the wounds healed, but we had a really cold winter that year, and I'm not sure if it was the really cold winter that made it struggle in the spring, or if it was that I trimmed it back too late in the season. It's taken about a year and a half, 2 years to kind of rebound to this size, so I haven't trimmed it since then. I may actually trim it come mid-fall, just trim it back a little bit, maybe probably about to right here. It seems to do really well, and it has its bloom cycle, so sometimes the whole thing is really brilliant when I come home from work. I also have over here one of my Plumerias has decided to open. Plumerias are native to Mexico, Central America, South America, Pacific Islands. Plumeria is what they make leis out of. So this Plumeria I got as a cutting from one of my neighbors. As you can see, it's pretty big. Here's my hand. Look at the size of the flowers, they're huge. This is a really great plant. This is the first time it's bloomed for me. It smells like sweet lemonade rose. That's the best way I can describe it. But as you can see, it has a beautiful yellow center to the flower, and then it moves on to this light pink or rose color, and then white or a lighter pink on this side. It smells awesome. And I have these other flowers that are going to open, and there's quite a few in there as well. I don't see any more inflorescence in here, but there's definitely a lot of ants, and I think it's because there's some sap and they're trying to get to it. Compared to this one, I have another one that's huge, and it's got 3 offshoots from the main branch, the main stem. And so far, this one hasn't bloomed, but this bloomed last year, and it's white. So this one smells like a sweet kind of cream lemonade. It's really nice. There's an undertone to the fragrance on Plumerias that is very distinct to Plumeria. So you kind of get an after smell, a little residual that you know is a Plumeria smell. So here it is. And this is a plumbago. If you don't know what a plumbago is, it's these really pretty light lavender colored flowers. They're actually a little bit more blue in person. But they're beautiful. And my neighbor across the street over there actually dug these up. They were just going crazy and she couldn't give them enough light, so I just put it here. It was just basically some clippings from it. Seems to be doing pretty well. So I'm going to pause the video really quickly and I'm going to show you some Plumeria seedlings that I have. So just hold off for just 1 second. So I'm back. I'm now in my sunroom, and what you're looking at here are Plumeria seedlings. So I have 8 in this tray, 8 in this tray, of 16 total. I actually have a bag of seeds that my maintenance person for my lawnmower actually gave me. So the story is, I've taken my lawnmower to get fixed at this place, and I took it in the winter months because here in Central Texas the grass just grows all year long. Well, my lawnmower decided to die in the middle of winter. So I took it to this place and they had, I kid you not, probably like 30 or 40 Plumerias in their shop, basically in the lobby where they would get light but they wouldn't freeze. So I struck up a conversation with the lady at the front desk, and it's her and her husband that owned the shop, and they said that they go to Hawaii and they go to a lot of other places in the Pacific Islands, just other islands in the Pacific. And they always bring back Plumerias or seeds or whatnot. She doesn't know what color these are going to turn into, but she thinks that these are pink. So I'm hoping it's not the ones that I just showed you. I'm hoping it's actually a little bit more magenta, which she kind of hinted at that they could be more of like a fuchsia color. But we'll see. So as you can see here, this is the old seed like pod or capsule that was there. It's actually like a little seed at the bottom, and then it's got this little flag tail at the top. So you plant the little part with just the little bulb on it into the soil, and you leave the little flag piece sticking up just about that much outside of the soil. And I kid you not, you plant these and 2 days later they're already breaking the soil. You can see these ones have lost the little tails. Well, actually no, this one still has it. Well, you know what? This one lost it. This one still has it. This one lost it right here. So they're doing really good. I've just had them over here in my sunroom, off to the side on that little table. While they're gaining their strength, I don't want to put them in full sun, so they get, you know, a pretty bright afternoon here in the sunroom. I'm going to move them out into the shade house probably in the next maybe 2 weeks or so. I just want to give them another couple of weeks here so they can get a good root system going. They can become a little more acclimated to higher levels of sun before I put them in full sun. But I may actually pot them in real pots before I do that, so I haven't decided yet. So I just wanted to kind of show you some Plumeria seedlings, and maybe, just maybe, when these get a little bigger, I'll do a drawing or a giveaway, and I'll give some of these away. Maybe I'll send out 8 of them, because I do want to give a couple away to some of my neighbors and coworkers and keep like 1 or 2. But for the most part, that's my Plumerias that I have. I actually have one more, and it's right there in that pot. I don't know if you can see it. I don't know what that one is, but I think it is another white one. Oh, and lastly, this is a Plumeria cutting. So I think this one is called Kaneohe Sunrise, which would be a beautiful shade of magenta and orange and yellow. So I have this in the other pot out there. So there's one right there, and then there's the other pot out there. So I put them both at the same time after the winter out in the pots. And it just wasn't doing well. This is all the leaves that it developed, and I was like, something's wrong with this one, because the other ones are already blooming, and this one hasn't even gotten leaves hardly. So I decided to just pull it out of the pot, and sure enough, the bottom half had rotted out. So I cut that part off, and I got to some healthy flesh. Oops, I just totally dropped it. So this is what's left of the cutting on this end. You can see that when you do cut into healthy flesh, you want to let the end scab up for a few days, probably about 7 days. This has been out here for about 2 or 3 days, so I could probably go ahead and pot it up, but I'm going to give it till the weekend at least. And so what I'll do is I'll wet this part of the stem or stalk probably about up to right here. I'll put a little bit of rooting hormone on the end, and then I'll put it into a pot, probably like a 6 or 8 inch pot, and I'll use peat and something that's well draining, perlite, and maybe some just regular dirt. Plumerias don't like to have too rich of soil, but I think they like a little bit more well draining sandy soil. So I'm just going to kind of mix up whatever, but obviously my other Plumerias have been doing really well. And this one just, I think it just rotted out. It got water too much and the roots rotted out. So what I've done for those other Plumerias that I showed you, they're actually in their pots. They're in their plastic pots. I use plastic pots just like those ones, but much bigger. So the Plumerias are in the pots, and I just actually dig a hole and put the whole pot down in the hole, and then just cover it up, because in the winter time you need to bring them out to be protected, because they're tropical plants. They will die if they freeze. So it makes it much easier to just pull the pot right out of the ground, bring it into your garage or inside your house, and just store them over the winter. They will lose their leaves come the fall when it starts to get cooler. So all you'll basically have is a stalk like this, and in the pot you'll just have a stalk with a pot, and then you can just winter them in a closet or something, and don't water them over the winter unless the stalks get really shriveled. But for the most part here in Central Texas, that's very short-lived. We have a winter that lasts like two months. Not bad. So anyway, I just wanted to show you some of my other tropical plants, Hibiscus and Plumerias. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more or you have suggestions, leave them in the comment section below. But until next time, happy growing!